Hey guys, welcome back to the POA farm. I am sitting in my seed room because, as I've mentioned previously, I hate being cold. And it's cold outside and not particularly cold in my house, but the seed room is by far the warmest room. So I just finished my work day and am getting ready to go pick up my daughter from daycare. But I thought while I had a little bit of extra time, I was going to show you one of the things that I'm doing to try to save myself while creating one of the things I'm doing to help relieve some of the needs for pots and things for my starters. I save a ton of plastic containers, and I'm going to show you what I do with them that gives me a little bit of extra wiggle room while growing. Since I don't sell my seeds right now, I'm just growing for myself and my friends and really just about anybody who wants them. I don't have to have fancy. I don't need them to look particularly nice. I just need them to grow. So let me show you what I'm doing. Woo. All right. So, and yes, I am totally sitting in my floor. I don't feel bad about it. Because again, it's warm and it makes me happy. Okay, so when it comes to seedlings, it's best to water from the bottom so that their roots try to dig deeper. If you're watering from the top, they get some water and it's not terrible, but for really strong, deep roots, you want to actually have the water at the bottom so that they're reaching in for it. That being said, for my seed starting trays, I water from the bottom and I have their little cups. They're perfect, but they're small. And the seed starting soil, it runs out of nutrients fast. They may stunt if all you do is give them that little bit of soil. So I have to add some regular potting soil or gardening soil, compost, the things that I use outside, into bigger containers and up pot the little bitty starters. Totally fine. It's what's best for them. I have used, and you can see on my trays, I'll pull them out in a second, little plastic containers left over from when I bought seedlings. I bought a bunch of frost hardy flowers to put outside so that way my yard didn't look quite so sad in the winter. It was looking a little pathetic. And I saved all of it because I'm of that thought process of why waste what I already have available to me. It's not just money that I would be wasting, but the resource, the plastic and all that. I'm gonna reuse everything I can. So what I did, I took my little seedlings, up potted them, and kept them on trays to help them with water. But it's not they're not getting enough water to really be strong, and they have to be high enough that the light's perfect for them. One of those quirks of using my shelving unit for my seed starting, it's not bad. It's pretty much perfect for these up pots. But right now they're a little short. Now, I have a couple options. I can take my little, these are empty ones, obviously. I can take my little ones, the ones that are filled with plants, and pop them on top of an old yogurt container. Notice it sits pretty well. That way I have water in the bottom and it's coming out. That would have been bad with a real plant, which is why my demonstration came with an empty one. That would have been bad. Not all of my old yogurt cups are as wide-mouthed as that one is. This one sits a little bit better. And then, again, still has plenty of room for water. There's a lot of space for the water though, so my reservoir would have to stay pretty full. It's not bad, but means a little bit wasteful. Or even my cheap solo cups. You reused from old parties. I have a ton of them. A little bit less space because it's skinnier, but same concept. I could just plop my pot into it. Now, that works perfect for the ones that I've already done. And even if it were to sit mostly inside of it, it's still gonna be up because of the walls. It's not gonna be sitting in the water, and it would still soak it up fairly well. So for the ones I already have started, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not going to mess with what's not broken. But what if you didn't have these really handy little plastic things? What if you're starting truly with nothing and you wanna start your seeds? I can take my cups. I like using 2 of the same kind, but you don't have to. And I will drill a hole in the bottom of one, leaving the other the same, putting my pot together like this. Soil, plant, self-watering. This one no hole, this one hole. Okay, Kristen, sounds great, except that's not a lot of room, right? Well, don't worry, we have a solution for that. Marbles. So for the ones that I do place the holes in, I'm going to take the one that does not have a hole, whoop, place some marbles in it, so then the one that does have a hole will sit more on top versus deep down into the water. Now, that being said, this is a pretty big container. It's gonna take a good bit of soil. I have a love-hate relationship with that. I like the idea of giving them plenty of space for their roots. And when it comes to my peppers that are coming up, it's gonna be necessary. For my brassicas that thankfully are already in their little bitty dinky plastic cups, I wouldn't wanna do this. I'm going to use this part without the hole as the basin because I'm not gonna keep them indoors for much longer. They are frost hardy. It's my broccoli, let's see, what else did I have? Brussels sprouts, my artichokes, all things that can, I may hold off on the artichokes, but the idea is they can go outside when the weather's nice. And y'all, we don't get a ton of freezing weather. Yes, it drops below freezing for an hour or so. Like last night it did for a couple hours. It was 30 all of a sudden this morning. But it's really not bad out now. It's like 55. They would be fine out there. Maybe not ideal. Some of them would prefer hot, a little bit hotter weather, but you don't want it to be too hot or they may bolt early and then they don't taste good. So it's a really interesting balance that I'm still figuring out. Imagine that. In that thought though, I'm going to keep from drilling the holes today. I have my drill and I'm only gonna do one so that I can show you the basic concept. And then all of the rest of them, I'm gonna leave whole for now while I up pot-ish the ones I have. And that way they can, if they're already in their little dinky plastic square cup, this one, I'm not gonna mess with their soil, I'm not gonna disturb their roots. I'm going to leave one without holes, put some water in it, plop it down in it, put it back on the shelf so they can keep getting light. But I did want to show you how this would look for those that I am going to drill because I have quite a few, and as I get closer with my peppers are going to need to be up planted or up potted. They will not last as long as I need them to in those little dinky things. Now, I have a ton of these suckers. I could use them, and I probably will for my flowers and some of my other things. But for my peppers, I don't want to move them too frequently. I don't want to mess with their soil and their roots too much. So I would rather make the sacrifice of more soil in a bigger container that I don't have to transplant more frequently. I'll do it once, seedling to this, and then one more time when I take them outdoors after hardening them off. Do not make the mistake of not hardening off your seedlings and just throwing them outside. There are some veggies and plants that would do just fine. Most don't. I got lucky last year and had some survive, and I didn't realize what I was doing wrong. Now I know. I needed to actually harden them off. So I learned and did better later on. But my first round of crops totally failed. Now, back to the topic at hand. Drilling my holes. I don't want to make too many holes or too big of holes. Now, I'm not gonna use these again except for doing this. It's not like I need it to be whole because it's gonna be a pot now. It's new life. I'm going to use my drill. I feel so handy when I have these things. And I'm going to drill 4 holes, kind of like you'd see on my other containers. I do know people who would consider drilling holes on the bottom of the sides here because they're gonna mostly sit on top of each other. There's not a lot of water that's gonna be going through there. I will focus on the bottom. Subject for change. So, taking my drill, having my hole, my hand is very far away from the edge. Don't worry, nobody panic. I can drill in. What I'm going to do to be the safest is I'm actually gonna put it on the ground. I know, it's not really necessary. Redneck me says, why, Kristen, why? But I don't want to be the reason why someone does something and hurts their hand. So I'm going to show you the safe way to do it. Y'all are adults, hopefully. If you're kids, you don't do this. You don't do this unless you have an adult with you. Sorry dudes, power tools, not for you. But for everyone else, we're going to take our little thing, drill our little holes. Now, normally I would want to hold on to it. I'm trying to hold the camera. We're gonna find out if it works. Whoop, ta-da. Put it back so that I can back it out. Sorry, I couldn't help it. I had to do it. Good news. Ta-da! Monkey feet for the win. Okay, feet back out of the way for the drill to go back. Flip it back over. Monkey feet. Back it out. I'm having a little bit too much fun with this, I know. All right. I should have gotten that part on camera. I felt super cool. That's my power tool, you know. Actually, I'm just trying to get the little plastic pieces off of it, but it looked cooler. So now I have my one that can be my new pot. And really, if you think about it, plastic has holes. 4 holes. Plastic, 4 holes. Sturdy, flimsy. Sturdy, flimsy. But still movable. So that way, whenever I actually take my plant and I want to get it out, I'm not going to just rip it out. Surely, my soil will still be loose enough if I'm doing this appropriately that it wouldn't be completely stuck. But the idea will be I'll protect and support the plant, squeeze, and be able to drop the plant out and pull. I probably am a little bit too cautious when it comes to pulling my plants out. I haven't quite grown past that mode yet, but still. Now, one thing I'll say, if you didn't want the little plastic side from drilling in to be on the inside, you can pull it off, you can peel it, whatever you want to do. You could choose, I will not do it, don't worry, to try to drill from this side, so that way the plastic's on the outside. To me, it's just not that big of a deal. But theoretically, pretend. We're gonna play pretend, guys. Pretend this is full of soil and a plant. My massive jar of marbles. I used to really like marbles as a kid, so I kind of collected them. Pretty sure some of these were my grandmother's too, which is a whole nother story. I have this pretty one, no holes. Couple marbles. Literally, I put 2. You don't even have to put 2, but I put 2. Give it a little extra space. Now, because of the way these sit, I would actually use the shooter because it's bigger. And I have a couple of them, so it'd be easy. So, take the one, pretend it has the plant, put it on top, and now you can see it has a pretty good level where water can get through. So, that's what I will do for any of them that I put my peppers in. I'm going to wait until later in the season. The light changed, so let me switch ever so slightly. I feel like I look shaded on you. Woo! A little special. I will probably wait till later. About the time that I swap out my tomatoes, I have to start my tomatoes out here. So, or in my seedlings. About the time I start my tomatoes, I want to take another look at my peppers and probably up-pop them just to make sure that they're doing okay. But for my others right now, you can see these in their little flimsiness. I am going to take just one of the pots with no holes, put water in it and sit them down inside. And then I'm going to just put them on the trays underneath so that they can keep growing in the lights. So this one wasn't a terribly long and difficult process. I have a bit of editing to do to get rid of some of my specialness that I've said or done, or just the random pauses and quiet. But that's my plan for my bigger plants that need to stay inside and how to give them the water reserve that they need to grow strong roots while not having to buy 1,001 little pots. I'm using either things I've already purchased for food or because I bought plants in the past and not spending any extra money on it. I hope this is helpful for anyone who's trying to learn a little bit and grow some more seedlings. While I go through this process, I'll keep you guys updated, show you what I'm growing and what we're doing. The heater just popped back on again. Yes. Be sure to leave stuff in the comments. Let me know what you think. If you've tried this, let me know how it worked for you. And we'll talk to you soon. Y'all take care now. Bye.